Thank you so much for organizing this for us.
All good, all good. Will someone be joining along?
I think time is going to join us, but it's going to be a while. But until then, I think we can get started.
Awesome.
Thank you so much
Feel free
for
to share your screen.
organizing this for us.
Just everybody, like
All good,
welcome,
all good.
welcome to
Will
demos
someone be
by
joining along?
DAOLationships. Just handing over to
I
Region
think
RSC to
time is going to
introduce
join
us
us,
to
but it's
Mesha.
going to be a while. But thank you so much, Sivan. And hey, guys, pleasure to be here. Quick background about me and my introduction before I talk about Mesha and what we are building. I got into the Web3 industry about a year and a half back. Started as a part-time researcher with Mazari. That was pretty great because kind of got to learn a lot about every subsegment of this industry, from infrastructure to different DeFi and NFT projects, which was quite cool. And then started in the interoperability space, leading partnerships for Socket.tech, a cross-chain interoperability protocol, and now I'm leading growth and partnerships at Mesha. So what Mesha is trying to do is build, on-chain expense management tool for Web3 teams and DAOs. What this means in practice is today when and I've been a member of Bankless Treasury Guild for some time now, and looking up, and also have been interacting with a lot of different DAOs and teams. A general sense in terms of managing finances is I think there's a lack of knowledge in terms of what financial management really means, and B, there is also lack of the right tools and systems that you need to implement to organize key financial operational areas, which is very important for you to grow your DAO. So you need to know how much money you're making. You need to know where all you're expending, how are your projects doing, are your projects profitable or not. All of these are important questions to know. And so that's where Mesha comes in. We're trying to build a suite of tools to help DAOs simplify their finance operations. So with that, I will share my screen, take you through our product. This is going to be a bunch of things that are in the rollout period for us. So a bunch of these things are not live as yet, but I will also show you what we have live right now. But let me know if you can see my screen, guys.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay, amazing. So starting with Mesha, there are four key areas that we're trying to simplify for in terms of managing finances. One is, for a lot of DAOs, their operating structure is more open and community driven, which means you have guilds or sub organizations, sub DAOs, which essentially control their own treasury and take decisions or buy into projects which they are more mission aligned. So for that, one part of our tool Mesha supports multi-sigs. So right now, Bankless DAO itself has about like 15 different, 12 different or 13 different guilds. And there are about like 6 or 7 different project-specific multi-sigs as well. So there are about 18 multi-sigs. If I want to know what's happening at BDAO at a helicopter level to know if the organization is doing well, I need to be able to, synthesize all of this, all of these individual transaction databases, and then be able to know what's happening. So multi-sig support is one part of what we are rolling out. The second part is transaction analytics, in terms of figuring out how you're doing, what your income, how your income and expense is growing or changing on a periodic basis. What are the key drivers of your value or revenue, so you can see a granular breakup of all of your expenses, and you can track them. So it's a great tool for both in terms of post facto analysis as well as doing budgeting and planning for the future. The third part is reimbursements. And I've seen a couple of cases at a number of different DAOs where you have people who are, part of the core team or core contributors who do take up some of the expenses of the DAOs. They usually, these are fiat expenses that you have to do either in terms of buying a software or Notion for project management or whatever and whatnot. So for these expenses, they tend to use their own credit cards because they're not yet crypto accepting organizations. They are Web 2, and that's where reimbursement becomes a challenge. And that's what we're trying to simplify, automate. You can. And I'll talk about a bunch of those things later. Reimbursement is in terms of automation and knowing exactly and building out a process in terms of your reimbursement will also keep your contributors happy. The final part of what Mesha is building or focusing on is how do you make the fiat off-ramp process for DAO simple, because there's a lot of expenses that are also off-chain. Now, for all of these off-chain expenses, right now you're doing the reimbursement route, but what if the DAO wants to take it more at a more operational level, get more control over it? That's where we have issued, Mesha corporate credit cards. These are the first corporate credit cards teams, or one of the first. I know there are other teams which are doing something on this side. I know Tankless is also trying to do something on this side. So yeah, we're also one of those teams, and I will quickly talk about that. Moving forward, in terms of multi-sigs, the first thing is to know exactly what you're holding. So you will be able to track your entire DAO's net worth together over time during their, for different time periods. You will be able to also see a breakup of which multi-sig holds the. Hey, I'm there. Am I there?
Yeah, we hear you. All good.
Awesome. I thought I just got disconnected. Thank you. So you have, you can see your token holdings by different safes, track assets across different safes. You can also then dive into, any of your safes. So let's say you want to dive into the BDAO main treasury safe, multi-sig. You just have to click on it, and then you will be able to capture granular data in terms of, how much income and expenses is happening across time period, and then granular data in terms of token holdings of that wallet. You can also, as you see, you have tabs like DeFi and NFTs. So you can track NFT royalties separately. You can track income from if you're doing any kind of DeFi yield aggregation or yield farming, you will be able to track all your farming income there. There's transaction history on the right. You can mass tag all of these transactions, and then you will be able to then further better improve your visualization if you want to do that. And once you do it for a given wallet, let's say you use one of your wallets which is designated for only marketing expenses. So you can mention this as for marketing, and every time that spend happens, you don't have to retag it. We'll just automatically do it in forward for all of the transactions that happen through that wallet, if that's a kind of strategy that you do. Moving forward, you have you can manage all of your safes, because a lot of DAOs tend to keep changing their operational heads or working group leaders. As that happens, different people get access to the multi-sig. So you can change permissions, remove people, and add people. That gives a lot of flexibility to the DAO. And then you have transaction analytics. One important thing for any DAO, which is basically bootstrapping itself, is to know exactly where are their projects successful or not. And that's part of the reason why we're building this part of the software. One thing about this is to gather financial intelligence, know exactly what your income and expenses are, track them over a historical period, review it, right? You can you also have periodic and granular analysis, so you can know which are your biggest spends, as well as which categories and as well as track them on different time periods. Moving forward, you have a simple way to kind of automate and create rules around operating your financial system, your accounting system, is to simply create you will be able to see all of the untapped transactions in one single view. You can multi-select transactions. So if there is a specific wallet where you've only done expenses related to a project, so you can just create a new project tag, and then automatically every time a new transaction happens with that wallet, it will be automatically tagged, and you will be able to visualize it in the screen before. Then kind of moving into reimbursement, which is what I spoke of briefly. I think very, very important for most DAOs. And one part of our dashboard is to track all of your reimbursements, all of your pending reimbursements. You can see at one place all of the ones that you have approved. You can see it again. You have link to share with your on Etherscan transactions as well. We also have Etherscan and link integrated, so you can, if you're a contributor and you've you spend something on behalf of the DAO. You remember you spend something on behalf of the DAO, so you can create a link, Etherscan link, paste it, or the transaction hash to prove that you've paid. All of that metadata will automatically be captured by the system, and then added to your ongoing proposals, and then you can the members can then agree to vote in favor of the reimbursement, and then it will be processed. The way it is processed is through batch transactions. So you can also do mass payments with Mesha. What this basically means is if you're running an on-chain payroll or an on-chain contributor management, I know you guys are probably using Coordinate for this, but this is another nice way to kind of manage this. You can pay them in multiple currencies, and in one transaction you can batch thousands of transactions. So that's pretty cool. So that's how that's what Mesha is going to be in the coming times. But for right now, I also want to take you through what's already live. So in terms of our app today, this is the core dashboard, and the way it operates is you have to import your Gnosis multisig to sign up. Once you sign up, you can import your Gnosis multisig. You will be able to see this dashboard where you have your income and expenses coming in. You have a chart kind of trying to break down your revenues. You will also see your expenses. I don't have any right now in this wallet. You can also see a breakdown of all of the tokens that you hold in your wallet right now. There are certain actions that you can do, which is you can create specific spend limits. This is, I think, very important. So if you create a spend limit on a given wallet, up until that's like a limit that how much they can spend, and you can also create limits in terms of making sure up until a certain amount you don't have to co-sign every transaction on the Gnosis multisig. So let's say up until a limit of $500, this wallet can do transactions on behalf of the DAO without going through the Gnosis multi-signing process. And on the right you have all of your transactions. If I click on I can kind of see them. I can also edit them and kind of add tags to it. If I want to add a specific tag, I can do it. I can also create new tags, and then on the left you have certain other features. Right now, credit cards is not yet live. It's going to be very similar to Brex in the sense that you can issue unlimited credit cards to your DAO team members, and then create a limit on that card, and up until that amount, those guys can spend. You can track where they are spending. You can also see how. You can also kind of create limitations in terms of specific vendors or specific kind of expenses that you don't want them to do. So all of those things are there. We recently launched a very simple feature called payout links. A lot of times when you have to send somebody crypto, you want to make sure it's the right address, which is why you try to send $1 worth of some crypto to make sure you're sending it to the right address. So you can skip that. You can skip that by creating a payout link. Share it with the guy who you have to pay. He can then open this link, add his address, his name, his organization's name right there, and it will be populated into your contacts list. And then you can kind of go into your expenses and do, if you've, send them cash, whatever available assets you have. And then we also have token swaps and DeFi right now in terms of, token swaps is powered by 0x protocol. So you get the best rates across Texas. You also have DeFi. Right now we have Yearn and Compound Walls integrated, but soon we're going to have, we're also looking to kind of explore this area, going more natively DeFi oriented in terms of, but that's largely going to be governed by what our customers need. So yeah, I will take a pause there because there was a lot of data download. And yeah, if you have any questions, happy to answer.
I think there was a comment by Ernest about this being a Web3 QuickBooks. What do you feel about that?
I think QuickBooks is more accounting. If you say natively, accounting is accounting is the ability to create to do a bookkeeping, right? You can't do bookkeeping. What we can do on is expense management. Like that's where our core focus area is right now. How do we make on-chain expense management and hopefully make financial analysis simpler and broader for DAOs? That's expense management and financial analytics or financial data intelligence. That's where our core focus area is. So, a typical accounting tool like QuickBooks is something which is also there on Mesha. I mean, it's integrated, so you can, in one click, export all of your data which you've already tagged, organized, easily into easily into QuickBooks or Xero. And we're looking at other accounting integrations as well. So you can just export it and start working there. But yeah, as a product itself, in terms of building a bookkeeping solution, that's not where Mesha is. I mean, that's not a core focus area right now.
Just curious how the credit card would work. So the credit card is issued by a DAO treasury. Is that how?
So yeah, great question. I think I didn't take you guys through this deck, but I will very quickly. Let me know if you can see it. Do you see this deck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice deck.
Yes. Right. So this is a multi-seg Visa credit card. Basic idea is to help organizations spend in fiat and pay back in crypto directly from their multi-seg to our multi-seg. The way it operates is you first, and this is currently only available for US, for US registered organizations. So what this means is, as a DAO, you need to have a US based organization, like either an LLC. There's other options as well, but LLC I'm just taking as an example. So you need to have an operating entity. That operating entity will be KYC with our partner bank. Once you do that, we will then do an underwriting process on your organization, which is basically analyze your treasury assets, see how much capital you have, and then on the basis of that, we will give you a credit limit. Let's say we give BDAO a credit limit of $50,000. Once we do that, we will also give you access on the app to issue credit cards to your core team members. So you can use that to issue credit cards. They can then start spending whatever for whatever expenses you're doing. And the end of that process, at the end of the month, let's say you spend $20,000, you're gonna go and pay us back directly from your multi-sig in stable coins. Right now we only support stable coins, $20,000, and then we'll settle it with the bank directly. So that's how it's operating right now. So in terms of the application itself, you can issue cards, you can track all of your expenses, you can also create spend limits. Merchant controls are there, so if you want to restrict the cards to be used in certain merchant areas or certain vendor categories, you can do that, and you get real-time insights into all of your expenses. There's also a flat 1% cashback on all of the fiat expenses that you do on your cards. This kind of helps to extend your own runway as well and get some short-term working capital. But yes, the catch is registering. So there's another way. A way around is for any, and this is something that we're going to do with more like looking to kind of explore. Is there a way to make this product more DeFi native? But that's something which is going to take some time on our part. But yes, that's all about credit cards.
Degen, what is the underlying who's the service provider for this infrastructure, the bank behind it, the issuers?
Yes, the banking partner is Evolve Bank. It's based in New York, I believe.
Sorry, what is it called? I didn't quite get it.
It's called Evolve.
Evolve. Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So, yeah, curious to hear your first thoughts about the product, any feedback that you might have, because you guys have been operating guilds, have been member of many different DAOs. So, would love to know, what you think about this product. Where do you feel there is more utility, or things that are missing, which ought to be built. So, yeah, just curious for feedback. Am I audible, guys? Hello?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So yeah, I guess no questions. Either my presentation was great or like terrible.
Perhaps you could say something about the bookkeeping and CFO services for DAOs.
Yes.
I wasn't there at the beginning of the presentation, so maybe I missed it. But
oh, you skipped it. So basically, I'll quickly run through 4 areas that we are kind of building. One is multi-site support, transaction analytics, reimbursement, and fair expenses. I think these are areas that we've been, as we talk to different DAOs and teams, are areas which are kind of hard to manage right now. So one is to organize all of your sales together, have a broad overview of your net worth across, right? Another thing is transaction analytics, just to track all of your income and expenses in real time. The third is reimbursement. So making the entire reimbursement process transparent and easy. That's all. That also makes contributors or members' lives simple, because I think in a DAO, a lot of people kind of take that, take a lot of.
We don't do that. That's no problem at all. Just
Those four broad areas that we're kind of operating. Trying to build a tool to simplify expense management, on-chain expense management, as well as simplify fiat expense, manage fiat expenses with crypto for DAOs and Web3 teams. All right, guys. I think so. You guys, let me know if you have any questions. We can hold on for a few more minutes.
The credit card option is kind of working right now?
No, it's not live right now. It will probably be. I think we faced a small bug. Otherwise, it would have been live last week. Friday is when we were planning. But there's something from, there's some like bug issue. It will probably be resolved in a day or two, and we plan to go live this week or maximum by Monday next week.
Well, that's great, and all the features I see here, they're all great. If you want my feedback, I like the features that I see here, and if you can go live with all of these, that's a great treasury tool.
Amazing, thanks. How do we, is there an opportunity to kind of work with different guilds at DAO, maybe the DAOLationships Guild, and explore if there is a use case? Is there a use case for you guys? Do we have members of DAOLationships Guild? We have Groard here. Thank you, Groard, for dropping in.
We definitely have organizations, small groups in the DAO that are creating, KYC business entities, and the DAO itself isn't, and the guilds themselves aren't, and never will be. That being said, the attraction for, we also don't use, because it would require a subscription to QuickBooks. We also don't use QuickBooks, so everything that we do is in Google Sheets. And so our biggest attraction would be helping to keep our, to be able to report to guild members or DAO members our expenses, and anything that assists with the reporting of accounting information. Some of our accounting, in Google can be standardized over time, probably. But currently, most guilds are kind of fairly messy with lots of unorganized information regarding, their treasury. And so anything that helps us report income and expenses is, step up from Parcel. So currently we all use Parcel to manage like contacts and to manage automatic payouts, recurring expenses and request expenses and stuff like that. But there's no reporting function or way to like categorize expenses in a way that you can report on, easily. So that's and then that's in a lot of DAOs, right? There's usually just some person in the DAO that has QuickBooks, and they're the ones that are just, and they're using their personal, right, Web 2 account and paying for it, and maybe there's some kind of reimbursement from their DAO, or maybe it's just like part of the expense of their role in the DAO.
Yes, agreed. And I think that's one of the key areas that we are focused on. How do we make transaction tagging automation on, creating kind of set rules on your wallets, and be able to then instantly visualize what's really the state of the DAO, or of a guild, or of a project that a guild is, members of the guild are leading or building. All of those things are like, key areas that we are trying to focus on right now. So yeah, man.
I'll let you know. So it's just kind of like a lead that you can follow up on, or maybe with help from somebody. But both banks.
Can you also suggest, because I don't think I will get this opportunity again. Yeah. But if I want to think about working with Bankless DAO as one of my strategic partners, and when I say partners, I'm saying I want to work and help you solve for all of the areas that you are kind of dealing with end to end, from accounting and financial management, right, payments management, all of those areas, if I broadly kind of put it into treasury as well, and then think about how do I build relationships within this organization. What would you suggest would be the right approach?
Yeah, so the main three groups is like obviously Treasury Guild. You're going to find alignment people who are looking at treasuries and the different multi-sigs in the DAO. And then we have at least two projects that I'll mention. One is Bankless Consulting, which is definitely like they have a KYC organization. They essentially have employees, or self-employed subcontractors that are, if you're like a working member in that group. And then Fight Club, we don't talk about it much, so you won't hear about it much, but you're welcome to look for their events in the calendar. They're publicized, and Salman or some other member that maybe is already involved in Fight Club can point you in that direction. But they assist venture capital folks adopting Web3 essentially. So those are all people who are KYC'd already, and have credit cards and are, could potentially like really use something. I'm not involved in
awesome,
but just off the top of my head, that's kind of like, the two quick places where you're free to participate and meet people. And
is one more question, sir. Given your leading DAOlationships, which I assume is, and correct me if I'm wrong, in terms of one of your core missions is to build partnerships for Bankless DAO, right? In terms of exchanging services and building some kind of network. Are there opportunities for projects like Mesha, for instance, to work with you in terms of accessing that network that you've built? And if yes, can we run some co-marketing events, and we're ready to do some sponsorship events and stuff like that as well. So it's mutually beneficial for both BDAO and DAOlationships and for us.
Yeah, so just real quickly, to be a DAOlationships Guild member as a DAOplomat, all we ask is if you want to participate in our coordinates, that you just occasionally inform our guild, of your product, of your community, of updates and changes and stuff like that. So just by, we welcome you to share this information occasionally in DAOlationships Guild. That qualifies you, as somebody who can participate in our coordinates. And then, over time, you just kind of meet, we kind of steer you in directions of the groups. And especially if you're interested in sponsorships or anything like that, we definitely have a pathway for those types of collaborations that are, fairly familiar to folks. One of the things that we're always looking out for is, so we have what's called an L1 membership, and level 1s are folks who commit to holding on to 35,000 bank. And this is essentially what we consider to be a full member, and you only need one bank token to participate in governance, but you get additional social perks, not access to government, but social perks. And so we're always looking for ways to collaborate with people and develop, perks for our members, and, also in a way that provides some benefit to your organization as well. And there's examples of things in the past. We're always looking for people that can, and hopefully we have lots of folks in the DAOlationships Guild channel and Discord and stuff where, we can get more specific on things or have different discussions. But that's kind of...
you mentioned perks for L1 members. Is there like a website where somewhere I can go to kind of read through what those perks are? And but that's kind of interesting for me. I think that's something that I can think about.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate, like share 2 pointers, like what do you mean by perks? Some idea about.
Yeah, this is where, so in the past, sometimes like NFT projects or gaming projects or metaverse projects will give early access to things for Bankless DAO full members. Opportunities to like test products before they come out. If you're wanting to, one, it helps your organization just be a little safer, so that the people that are maybe getting early access or helping to test a product, that if they're holding 35,000 bank, they probably are onboarded, into Bankless DAO. They know how to reach out to people and build a relationship in Bankless DAO. And, they probably earned, that 35,000 bank, so they've done some things. So that kind of gated, membership benefit, kind of helps with your organization a little bit, but also, for our members, sometimes it's early access. It's, that's what everybody's trying to figure out in Web3 is like, how do we collaborate? What benefits can we give to each other in our community? You could have some really cool event that's normally gated in your community that's opened up to Bankless DAO members.
I also saw you guys did. I think you guys did a token swap some time back, or proposed one between MeterDAO and Bankless DAO. While diversification is one part of the game, there is also an opportunity to then work closely with VitaDAO and explore if there are other business opportunities there. So that's also something interesting to kind of look at in terms of exploring partnerships.
And there's definitely people other than me that have spent more time thinking about and developing and working with partnerships and stuff. I'm generally, kind of weeds in the guild, working on governance and administration and education and research. But yeah, just continue to, I'm sure Salman can follow up with you, and yeah, we'll make sure you're welcome in DAOLationships Guild and get you pointed into places where you might want to be.
Thank you so much. Pleasure being here and presenting, Mesha. And thank you for sharing all of that feedback. And definitely I'll follow up with Salman and hope to work together with Bankless and DAOLationships.
Yeah, lastly, I guess I'll give you one other thing. So we have an organization called International Media Nodes, which is essentially a guild or project. And it's a kind of umbrella organization for all the non-English. So there's, 6 to 8 other discords where folks are in Bankless Brazil, where they're speaking and working in their local language, and a lot of it is just translating a lot of the English content, but their media nodes themselves, they're in control of their own sponsorships. They have a different audience, it's more
How do I access international media notes? So is there a website or separate?
Yeah, we'll tag you in the voice channel here, and
Sure.
they have their own general Discord with for all the language support, but they do have a small space that starts out in this Discord, so it's a good place to start meeting people. And then if they take you out of this Discord, just don't be alarmed,
Okay.
and a lot of creative people in the IMNs too. I mean, everywhere, but just always want to make their voice heard a little bit more.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great questions
Salman.
and great presentation, Dijan RSC. Really appreciate it. I hope you got some guidance here. Also, just if you hang around in DAO relationships, you will begin to meet more people from different from the ecosystem, which is a way for you to extend and find partnerships.
I'm trying to do that. Trying to find more time to spend in Bankless.
So, like, rather than thinking of like installing this within DAO relationships itself, DAO relationships is more of a network to help you connect across, is what I'd say. Also, if you want to explore sponsorships, by the way, is also something you can consider. Bunch of ways to connect through newsletters and podcasts, FYI, which we can discuss later. But I mean, to me, it looks super promising. I'm not really into treasury and all that, but like, this looks really interesting. So, any parting words, you can go ahead. Otherwise, I'll just close it out.
No, man, I'm great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you everybody for joining. So every week we'll be holding demos like this here on the Watercooler channel. At the same time, next week we have a product called Vistaverse, which is a metaverse dedicated to social actions and digital protests. So do join in. Again, thank you and have a great one.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Ernest.
Yeah.
Just seeing your message.
Yeah. So
Okay.
essentially, right, we do at our weekly syncs, we do project updates. So if they can once a month or once every other month come to DAOLationships Guild, add themselves to the agenda, which means they need to be able to have edit access to the matrix, then they can give their update, and essentially their update in the meeting can always update the CRM if the talent coordinators are paying attention, or if the the person kind of working with that diplomat is paying attention, and wants to easily update
So
the CRM.
updating the CRM as well as, did you say speak about in the agenda in the meeting itself?
No, so
No.
they update the meeting agenda, but the person
Okay.
who is kind of hand holding the diplomat, then they can use that update and update the agenda, right? They don't have to schedule another meeting or organize a meeting to catch up. As long as that diplomat knows how to give meeting agendas, then we know how to pull that information and update the CRM. And then if and this qualifies the diplomat for coordinate. And then they may not be in every coordinate, but that month that they give the agenda, they'll say, oh yeah, by the way, I gave the update for whatever. It doesn't have to be a whole demo. They could also just have questions, as a diplomat, and then so if that diplomat can attend the weekly sync, or at least verbally put their questions on the agenda, then guild members, talent coordinators can address those questions for that diplomat in kind of an async way.
Got it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. One thing I wanted to mention to you, Ernest, while I have you here, I met Space Monkey the other day from Rep3, which you are familiar with, I believe.
Yep.
So I think he has wanted to connect with you. So I just wanted to let you know.
I tried setting a Calendly or whatever, and I put that my email address was like .xom instead of .com. So yeah, I think Rep3, there's somebody else who gave a demo that I need to follow up with.
I think he has sent you a friend request, is what I have the latest on.
Cool, that's Space Monkey.
I know that you get a lot of DMs. Yeah, Space Monkey.
Yeah, that's the problem that I've had. I just haven't been able to figure out like who the person's name is that's associated with.
Shall I tag him here on the voice channel just for you to look at?
No, I'm just gonna pull it.
No, okay. Okay. Good.
All right.
Yeah, it's basically Space Monkey. Yeah.
There we go. Then I waved to them, they waved me back, and then now they're in my DMs.
Got it. Yeah.
And that was Rep 3?
Yes, that is Rep3. Yeah. I actually met him IRL here in the city, and it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Like got an IRL demo. Yeah, very promising product again.
Yeah, and so just so folks know that are maybe interested in, supporting diplomats, right? Buddying up with diplomats. When I identify them in my DMs, I make sure to paste whatever information I already know about them or links to their demo or whatever, pin it to that person's profile so that you can easily go back to that person and be like, who the hell is this? What were they talking about? And then you just check your pinned messages and you see, oh, this person's from Rep 33. I'm pretty sure I got a YouTube video on that one. And I'm still broadcasting live.
Oh, okay. Sorry to bring upsets. But direct information on a stream now.
Yeah, this is all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can break this down, and we got a little tutorial on how to how to remember what your diplomat does.